Okay, well, I wanted to begin by thanking everyone for coming and spending an hour with us learning about all of the products that PCSC, PSC&A at Panasonic has to offer. And we're doing something a little bit different that we hadn't done before yesterday. And actually, the first time today, we're going to have one person from Panasonic going through 9 different products in an hour. So I'm not going to go into great detail on any specific products. What I ask is that if there's specific products that you're interested in, to please put them on the back of one of your business cards, write down what products you want us to engage you on, and then we can have further conversations about those specifics. Like I said, we've got 9 products I'm going to go through in an hour, so I'm going to be very quick in going through them. Starting with just a brief introductory kind of going through a little bit summary of what our president talked about earlier this week, and then going into talking about Toughbooks, arbitrators, security, POS products, projectors, displays, broadcast, scanning solutions, and last but not least, medical devices that Panasonic has. So before I even begin, let me just start by finding out. Anyone in here currently selling Panasonic products?
We sell some Toughbooks.
Okay, some Toughbooks. So everything else here is probably going to be brand new.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so the purpose here is not to so you see what we have and see if there's anything else that is interesting to you. And some of it may not be, some of it may be real interesting, and that's the idea. So to give you an idea of where we're coming from, Panasonic has been selling the Toughbooks since 1992, so 20 years selling the Panasonic Toughbook. We merged with a couple other divisions of Panasonic a few years back, where we added broadcast video displays and projectors into our company. And then 6 months ago, we merged again with some additional divisions, adding, I guess it's 6 new product lines into the mix. And SYNNEX currently is selling all but 1 or 2 of these product lines. So you can actually get all of these Panasonic products from one distributor. You can see that 10 business units. We've got 10 defined vertical markets that we're selling to, and it equals almost 500 different products. And then variations of those different products. So it's a lot of different products to have in the portfolio. The vertical markets that we're concentrated on is enterprise, federal government, healthcare, education, hospitality, if you can't see, public sector, utilities, construction, house of worship, and the sports. And what sports is referring to is the actual sports venues with our products. So I'm going to start with Toughbooks. The Toughbook product line, and you're going to see this theme throughout this presentation, is that all of our products have these things in common: reliability and durability as a core piece of what they're all about, as well as that we're a core manufacturer. All of our products are made by Panasonic. So we engineer them and we manufacture them. Solution approach. We don't make products without talking to our customers first to find out what they need so that we design those features into our products. And of course, service and support. The fact that with almost every Panasonic hardware product, there is a service product that goes along with it that you have the ability to sell to your customers, provide to your customers. Toughbook specific, battery life, the fact that they're thin and light as we can make them and still be durable, and the fact that they have wireless. And when I'm talking about wireless, I'm talking about Verizon, AT&T, and Sprint Wireless as a standard feature on all of our Toughbook notebooks. Cost of ownership. If you haven't sold Toughbooks before, the one thing that you might know about Toughbooks is that they generally cost a little bit more than some of the other notebook options available, but you get what you pay for. Our message is truly one of a lower cost of ownership. So it may cost more money to purchase a Toughbook, but over the course of ownership, over a 5-year period, it's going to cost you less to own it due to less failures because it's more reliable out in the field, out in everyday use. Where do we get the data from? We actually PC Magazine does a survey every year where they actually take a look at failure rate data of notebooks. And if you are currently selling Toughbooks, and you've seen this before, we do this every year. We share the latest data. And the data has been pretty consistent, although we've added Apple. We didn't used to add Apple into our failure rates, but now you can't really ignore them. They have a 15% annual failure rate. The industry average is a 15% annual failure rate. Panasonic's has a 2% annual failure rate. So on any given day, your Toughbook is going to be 5 to 8 times more reliable than your standard off-the-shelf notebook by other vendors. Where do we stand in the durability category? Panasonic has a 66% market share, and you can see that our next greatest competitor is at 8. There's a handful of folks that are trying as well. Our product lineup looks like this. The original Toughbook notebook, the CF31, and it, gosh, it's probably in its 7th or 8th generation now. So we've really improved upon the original, and it has the latest and greatest specs from Intel with processor and chipset and hard drive size, memory size, everything like that. Semi-rugged. We've got 2 semi-rugged products with our 52 and our 53 products. What's great about our semi-rugged products is that these are lower cost devices that still give you a significant level of durability. And still some of the features that you'd expect from a Toughbook, like magnesium alloy casing, shock-mounted hard drive, waterproof keyboard, and covered ports. Then we've got our business rugged products. We've got 3 different models, and really here, what makes them different is they're very light, yet they still have durability features that you'd expect on a Toughbook. And the F9, for example, which is what's up here on the table, is actually, and this is a model that's a couple of years old that I have on the desk, the lightest notebook in the world that has an optical drive in it. So when you think of Toughbooks, you may think, oh, it must be really heavy, and some of our models are in the fully rugged category, but on our thin light category, we have very, very thin notebooks, but still have a lot of durability. And then last but not least, our tablets. And we've got 3 different variations of tablets, the H2, the U1, and then the brand new A1, which you saw a little bit about yesterday. And in the tablet space, we're not new to the business. Again, this is information you may have seen in the last couple of days. But it leads to the A1, our Android-based tablet. It's going to be followed by a 7-inch tablet as well. And later down the road this year, we also talked a little bit about yesterday a Windows 8 tablet that we're also going to be releasing. It's going to be I believe it's 10.1, but it's going to be a different aspect ratio than the Android version to be in line with Windows 8. So that's going to be the different, same size screen, but different aspect ratio. Arbitrator. This product, if you haven't seen this before, is our in-car mobile video platform. And we call it the 360 because this product has the ability to simultaneously record 360 degrees around a vehicle by having multiple cameras with a simultaneous recording feed. It's a very unique device that has an SD card system and a RAID formation that make sure that all the data and the recording is safe. Since these are used primarily in police vehicles, it's critically important that they have data that they can trust and rely on for legal purposes. Arbitrator comes with a camera, recording device, a wireless mic, so you can actually record audio outside of the vehicle. Has a GPS device built inside, so it will actually record the location that the video was taken. As well as an SD card that is Panasonic made and very, very reliable. Again, quality support. You see this theme throughout this presentation, as well as things like warranty, 3-year warranty. To take a look at what the Arbitrator looks like, it's got a larger field of view than your standard some of the competitors who have mobile video devices. has the ability to have a very, very aggressive zoom lens on there. You can actually see a license plate from over a quarter-mile away with the front camera on the arbitrator. So we're basically taking technology that Panasonic has been doing for many, many years in the video space and putting it into an application like this, for a vehicle in a completely different way. Security cameras. So Panasonic is not new to the security camera business. We've been in the business for over 50 years, and you can see this really old guy that actually was using vacuum tubes in order to operate. And if you take a look at a diagram of the over 50 years of products, you can see it's been quite an evolution of product. Today, we have camera products that meet the high, medium, and low end of the markets. High end for being used in government, where you need, again, very secure data and jails, things like that, traffic cameras. To the mid-level, which would be public facilities, and then banks and schools. And then the low side, which would be for homes, but also for retail and store shops and things like that. A pretty aggressive product line, basically hitting all the way from your very high resolution to low resolution cameras with basic features all the way up to very sophisticated features that take into account facial recognition and taking into account adjusting for lighting and things like that to be able to see pictures really well. So let me show you some examples of that. So this is one of our security cameras that is taking advantage of a technology called Mega Super Dynamic, okay? And this is a technology that actually takes a look at a room that may be dark in spots and actually increases the contrast so you can be able to see the people in the actual image. So there is an image of a competitor's camera. Actually, it's ours, but with it, the feature turned off, which would be found in most competitors' cameras. And again, you can see what it looks like turned on. And there's like a side-by-side comparison. So this is a feature that you find in most of our physical security camera lineup. We also have video recorders. And what's neat about these is, our security products are scalable. Anything from a very basic setup where you have one camera that you're accessing, controlling, and recording from with built-in software in the camera, all the way to very sophisticated systems like the ones on the right-hand side that use these media servers that are capable of recording 64 channels at the same time. So from 16 to 64 based on the model that you're getting. So we have all the video recorders as part of the lineup too. Transitioning into POS systems. Panasonic has been in the POS business since 1978. We have over 1 million of them installed. So we're not new to POS, although this may be the first time you're hearing about it from us since we've combined all of our product groups together. And they're engineered in Japan. They're built by Panasonic. We have a long list of very large customers that you're probably familiar with. We sell to a number of different markets, including retail, hospitality, and fast service, which is what you see mostly here. This is our strongest vertical market. Two different products. We've got the wireless headsets so for communication between employees, and then also our actual POS units. Again, very reliable, very durable, 3-year warranty. Most of the folks who make POS units give you a 90-day or a 1-year warranty, so very aggressive there. As well as security features like CompuTrace, to prevent unlawful usage, and then for loss if these get stolen, to be able to track them down. And reliability, again, doing anti-dust chambers and vibration, touch panel tests, waterproof tests, and even do a lightning test. And why is this so important for a POS unit? Well, if you're running your business and this is your cash register, this is where you're collecting money from, it's got to be working. It needs to be working at all times. And that's why reliability and durability is so important for this kind of product. Then we jump into projectors. We've got a number of really neat slides here that show some examples of how our projectors get used. This one's pretty neat. One of the features that our projectors have that we do a really, really good job at is being able to use multiple projectors and be able to do edge blending, where it really does look seamless between one projector and the next, where it actually is smart enough, the projector is smart enough to be able to correct, to be able to get it exactly lined up with the exact brightness and everything, so you don't see lines, right, between the different images. That's a pretty neat one. The other thing to note about our projectors is they're not generally being used just for how we're using this one here, right, for a presentation. Our projectors are being used in all kinds of areas for all kinds of different things. So you saw the museum example a second ago, but in a classroom you'd see them certainly onto screens, but then you'd see them for digital signage. This is a shot of a casino. This is a restaurant, but then we have one here of a casino. And so they're used for all kinds of applications, regardless of the size of the venue. Certainly for command and control, if a display is not large enough, it's fantastic to have a really high quality projector creating a larger image. And certainly for boardroom applications. Panasonic is not new at making projectors. We've been making projectors since 1975, right? With the original projectors that actually had the red, green, and blue guns. So we've been doing this a long time. And today, let's see. Yeah, it's cut off on the end of the screen now. Today, we've got over 50-some-odd projectors that we have in our lineup. We have a tremendous number of projectors, from your basic projectors that sit on a table for a presentation like this, all the way up to the really big 20,000 lumen for huge auditoriums that can get you very, very bright at full HD resolutions. High quality, again, part of the theme here is people buy our product not just because it looks good. Certainly that's a big part of it when you're purchasing a projector, is the image has got to look good, but also because of the history and track record for extraordinary reliability. One of the technologies, and if I'd thought about it, I would have done it here, is our projectors, many of our projectors are wireless. You can project to them with no cables. And it can work in a couple different ways, but the most common is there's a dongle you can stick in the USB port, and you can broadcast to that projector without any wires. And where that becomes really practical is if you're in a boardroom and you have a number of people sitting around a boardroom table, instead of having to move the wire and drag it around the table, you can actually pass around the dongle to stick in the USB port so people can share their information. Also very helpful too, if you're doing something like what I'm doing now, but let's say you want to be able to walk around the room with a tablet or something like that to be able to do a presentation, you've got that ability. This is a quick look at the lineup of our larger size projectors, DLP and LCD, so if you have a preference for one or the other, we carry both kinds with a very large variety of lenses for different throw distances and size of screen. So we've got lots of different options for different kinds of settings. And we have our one-chip DLPs, a little bit less expensive for kind of medium-sized venues, and then our 3 LCDs down to the really small guys like what we have on the table. So to give you an idea of where we play, oops. For some reason, some of the graphics didn't make the slide. So what this is basically showing is market share based upon lumens category. So in that over 3,000 lumen category, we have #1 market share in projectors. So we really do specialize in the mid to large size venue projectors. We have some that certainly sit on the table for transport and portability, but really we specialize on the larger sized projectors for bigger projects. On the professional display side, Panasonic, if you are familiar with our display business or have heard about it or have seen us from the retail side of what you see in the store, Panasonic is known for our plasma technology. And this is a technology that we actually invented. We invented the plasma technology and now we're probably in the 7th, 8th generation of plasma. And Plasma technology is absolutely beautiful. It still is today. We've made them very big. They're scalable. But as prices have come down in LCD, we're starting to see that eat into the market because of price. It may not look quite as pretty, but it costs less money in some of those smaller sizes. So we have an LCD lineup as well, so we have both choices. We see plasma making sense for boardrooms, museums, places where you want to be able to show the absolute best picture possible, and LCD where you may want to do digital signage or displays that are on 12 hours a day, in a setting where it's really more about cost than it is really about having the absolute best picture. To give you an idea of the difference, I mean, plasma, 100,000 hour lifespan versus LCDs. But at the end of the day, they look beautiful. Sizes, we have plasmas all the way up to 152 inches. If you had a chance today to look at the trade room floor, we had 103-inch plasma on display, and all the way down to 42 inches. For LCD, we've got 42 inches up to 50, and we have new ones coming out that are going to be even bigger. We also have specialized displays for healthcare, for patient room displays, also for healthcare, healthcare patient room displays, and also for hospitality is what I was looking for. And then we also have interactive displays. So we've got a whole range of different products in the display category. Some of the places where they've been used, this is a picture that's showing the 103-inch plasma being used at the Vancouver Olympics. And actually, that's a 152 being used in this picture. In the most recent Olympics, Summer Olympics, they were using a 103. So they've been used for some pretty high-profile events. 85 and 103-inch plasmas. Some pictures in some other places where the plasmas are being used, just to give you some examples. This is a picture of our interactive plasma display. New product, again, we had it on display upstairs. But again, it's durability and longevity, lifespan. And it's just some examples of it being used. You can actually use 4 pens at the same time. So you could actually have multiple people up at the display using it at the same time. Wireless, we talked a little bit before about the wireless connection. We have this technology also now in our displays. And so you've got the ability to use the dongle. You also have the ability to be able to use an iPad. We have an application from the iPad that can also broadcast to our projectors and displays. So as we're moving more and more towards no wires, pretty important feature. Again, here are some examples again of usage for doing designing, conferencing, education, of course. Give you an idea of some of the new products coming out. I mentioned before, we have a 70 and an 80-inch LCD LED coming out later this year. It should be very, very exciting, especially for applications like digital signage. We also have a narrow bezeled product for video walls. And we have the products for outdoor usage. And we've got a couple models now, new ones coming out. They're going to be even more durable. In fact, our newest outdoor displays are actually more durable, go through more mil-spec testing than our Toughbooks even. So that's how durable they are for being able to be outside in the environment. Some more examples of digital signage, and you're seeing digital signage popping up everywhere, of course. So this is still a growing business. It's still in its infancy. But we're seeing it everywhere from restaurants to obviously naturally in airports, but also in retail, in lobbies and things like that. So anywhere where there's extra wall space, there's an opportunity for some digital signage. On the pro video side, there's a lot of areas where we play in broadcast video. One of the areas would be in music and staging, for events, for activities. Kind of like the event, certainly the event that we've been at this week, right? There was cameras in the back of the room making sure that that image was, an image of the folks on the stage was broadcast up onto the big screen so everybody could see. We certainly have products for that. Products for education, certainly we have products that make sense for that space for those who are learning. On the enterprise space, there's a lot of meeting rooms where you can't fit everybody into the rooms. They have to do a closed circuit broadcast within a facility or within a company. So they want to broadcast just to themselves. And they're investing a lot of money into gear to be able to do that. Also in recording events, kind of like what we're doing right now, so that others can see it later on if they happen to have missed the presentation. Major sports, we've got a number of our products in a number of high-profile venues that are using our products for recording sporting events. The reality TV and the indie photographer, indie filmmaker uses a lot of our products. Again, going back to that durability and reliability, if you're going to go halfway around the world to do a shoot, you want to make sure that your camera is not going to fail on you while you're out in the field. Broadcast video, television stations, of course, are using our broadcast products. And our P2 technology, which is our card technology for recording video, because of its workflow features, actually won us an Academy Award for technology. And I believe that was about a year or two ago. So very well recognized. Again, reliability, workflow. We have a series of cameras that are, we call them our AVC cameras that use SD cards, which is a little bit of a less expensive way to record a less expensive medium. And we actually have a 2/3 imager camera, which certainly videographers love because it gives you a larger depth of field. So for taking great pictures. So again, a huge variety of different products for different applications is really what we're trying to communicate to you, that you could communicate to your customers. And then of course, wireless, we've talked about it a few times. It's going to be very important for our cameras to be able to communicate wirelessly with all the different kinds of devices that Panasonic has, as well as third parties. So we've certainly got that. Talked a second ago about the recording mediums. Again, Panasonic actually makes our own SD cards, which we can validate and make sure are high enough quality for recording video that we sell. And then, of course, the P2 as another option. LCDs, well, if you're doing broadcast video, it's not just the camera, it's some of the other gear that goes along with it. So we've got a number of different accessory items to be able to see recordings before they go live. And systems products, which is basically products like PTZ cameras, where you can use one camera remotely to be able to do recordings of different productions. And we've got a couple of different varieties of that product line. This is one here too that also is used for video conferencing and distance learning and things like that. Whereas you know, the camera you may use ordinarily for video conferencing is generally a lower cost camera. This is a broadcast quality production camera that's used for that function. So we have folks who definitely want to use that. You can see some of the applications again where our PTZ cameras are used, our remote operated cameras are used. So last but not least, let me jump into our medical systems products. So this is a really neat slide and very new to us, but it tells the story really well. So here's a hospital. So taking a look at a specific vertical market and where our products fit in. So I've gone through 9 different products. And here's an example of where all these products, maybe not all of them, but a good number of them are used. You can see in the very front of the hospital, there's an ambulance. The ambulance may use our arbitrator system for mobile video to record and you know, what's going on around the ambulance. Most certainly has a CF19, one of our tough books inside, that's used for accessing medical records and accessing data and inputting data about patients. You walk into the lobby and you're going to see professional displays for digital signage. You might even see a projector broadcasting something for digital signage. You're going to see, if you go over to the left, a patient room. You're going to see our patient room displays in the patient room. Throughout the whole building, you're probably seeing security cameras from Panasonic, making sure that it's eyes on the hospital, people coming and going, and what's going on there. Then you jump into the boardroom, and you're most likely going to have one of Panasonic's plasma displays they can use in their boardroom, so they can get the best video. Then if you jump into the operating room, you may have our medical displays, which I'm going to talk about in a second, there too. So you really can see here where all of our products kind of come together all in one vertical market, all in one building. And I think that tells the whole story. The other thing is, scanners. That's the other piece here too. All of our products, right, in one place. So talking about medical displays, we had some up on display. I hope you got a chance to see them this week. So we make healthcare grade displays that are antimicrobial, that can be used in an operating room. For many, many years, we just OEM them for other companies that branded them their own. Now we are selling them through the channel, through SYNNEX, and giving you the opportunity to sell a product that is very, very unique, very, very niche for healthcare, if healthcare is one of the vertical markets you're focused on. You can see we've got 4 different products. It's a 26, a 32, and a 37 inch. And then we also have one that is a 32 inch 3D display, again, for healthcare operating room application. And the question is, why do you need 3D? Well, just think about filming with one of our 3D cameras, one of Panasonic's 3D cameras, and be able to actually see that operation, for medical students or for a third party who's watching or monitoring, being able to see that done in 3D. So pretty neat. Camera recorder, you can see in the middle there. This is actually a product that's actually not generally used itself. It's used with other medical devices to record. But again, what's unique about it is that it's medical grade, right? It's antimicrobial. It can be used. It's airtight, so it can be used in the environment. And you can see at the bottom there, there's a specific camera that's to be used with microscopes. So if you're using a microscope, you can use the camera to actually get that digitized into a picture. So you've got a lot of different products here that make a lot of sense. Here's some photos, what these guys look like. And adaptability, these are high-end displays, so a standard feature is HD SDI, so that you can hook it up to a camera and see the video live without any compression. Wide viewing angle, circular polarization, right, for that screen. So even if you've got bright medical lights, in the room, it doesn't show that reflection. And they're very customizable. So depending on the setup in an operating room, you can have pictures side by side or up and down to be able to have a lot of flexibility. Again, 1080p, very small, so they fit into that tight space in the medical operating room. And they're designed to work with the third-party devices that can be married up with them, so they make sense in operating room. So, all right, last but not least, scanners. We have a full lineup of scanners, as you can see, and this is somewhat of an eye chart, but the takeaway here is we have scanners that are everything from your basic desktop scanner all the way to scanners that can do 50 pages per minute. And I think the maximum capacity is like 30,000 sheets per day, very high speed, and highly commercial designed scanner. So we have the full lineup from the basic to the most advanced. So please make sure you reach out to us if you want to learn more about the scanners, because there's a lot there to offer. No authorization required to sell the scanners. It's an open authorization product that SYNNEX carries all of the models. We have some government rebate programs in place. If you have government customers who have the need for some scanners, we've got programs there specific to them. Best warranty in the industry, again, it's 3 years, where a lot of the competitors are 90 days or a year. We give 3 years. And that's significant in the scanner space. I mean, these things are workhorses, right? I mean, they're grinding out all kinds of things, not just paper, but ID cards and things like that. So to have a warranty that's that good for that kind of use is significant. So there you have it, 9 products in about 45 minutes. And I know it's a lot to take in, and again, what I'd ask is if there's anything specific that piques your interest, I urge you to write it down in the back of your business card and provide that to me so that we can get you connected with the right person to learn more about it. The other thing I'll mention too is we've got support in the field. We've got a field organization of partner sales managers. I believe we have about 40 of them right now, and they are product specific. So if, again, you're interested in this, any specific products, we can connect you with them. We can connect you with them. So, any questions?
I don't have anything in mind right now, but it's piquing my interest at maybe.
Okay.
There's an opportunity there. So when I'm ready to say I have an opportunity here, how do I go about finding the right person to talk to?
Well, that's a great question. I'd say one way you could do it, certainly, is leverage your relationship with SYNNEX. When you're calling SYNNEX and inquiring about a product, they can very quickly direct you to the right person on Panasonic's team. Also at SYNNEX, there's me, and I'm specifically responsible for the Toughbook products, the security, and the POS products. And my counterpart, Mike Mercier, is responsible for the other products that we talked about. So between the two of us, we can connect you with the right people. And even then, like I said, most of the SYNNEX folks are familiar and have relationships with our field teams and can make that connection for you.
Quick to the 5 that you can get on it. So there's on the employee side, physical security, there's a product manager and a business development rep. And then on the Toughbook side, there's 3 that handle the Toughbook side. So your sales rep can get you in touch with any of those guys. And then also, I think we have a Panasonic at SYNNEX.com that you can email if you have a question about Panasonic specifically. But there's lots of knowledgeable people to help you out.
That's right.
You said there's open authorization on the scanners. What other products are open authorization presently in?
Great question. Most of the products we talked about have some part of the product lineup that is open authorization. We intentionally have authorizations for our products because we do want to make sure that we're taking care of our partners. It is a two-way street, and we want to make sure that we're protecting you but not oversaturating the market, letting anybody sell any product we have. We think that protects you and protects us, so both of our best interests are looked at. So to give you an idea on Toughbooks, our semi-rugged and our business rugged Toughbooks are open authorization. Our fully rugged and arbitrator products require authorization. On the security products, we have 17 products out of the security camera lineup that are open, where the rest are closed. Yep. And it's not necessarily lower end as much as it is easier to set up and deploy. That's right. And that's for both of our protection.
What about GSA schedule?
The GSA schedule. So SYNNEX holds the GSA schedule for Panasonic. So for fulfillment purposes, if you have a GSA opportunity, please, the first place to start is with SYNNEX. Yep.
You can use GSA at SYNNEX.com for any questions related to the GSA schedule. Being dedicated specifically for those opportunities that can do the quoting, order processing, working to get authorizations, whatever's needed.
And then also on the, I don't know if you want to continue on the authorized versus non-authorized, but there's lay products generally are open.
Right.
Projection products, we have a portion of them that are open, and then the higher end are more complex are open.
Right, right. So for example, on the displays, we talked a little bit about having 85 103s and 152-inch plasmas. We request authorization for those because they're huge. So we want to make sure who we are having sell them have the ability to install them and service them if they need servicing. Because there's a lot of folks, I mean, that don't have the ability to be able to transport and install and that sort of thing. That's really why it's a protection, again, for both of us. And same thing on the projectors, right? I mean, you've got some very large projectors that require a little bit of expertise to make sure they're set up properly and connected with control systems and things like that. So, any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you again for spending your time with us. Hopefully you got something, learned something new about one of our products or multiple products. And again, I'm going to be here, so if you have questions afterwards, please grab me. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.